Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm so happy to have the beautiful Larissa Martincic, which I think I got right, who is an intuitive numerologist and the founder of Goddess Giving. So I'm so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here all the way from New York.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I actually came across Larissa on Instagram or TikTok, I think. And so thank you, social media, for that. And I'm like, ooh, I love her vibe. So I really wanted to get her on. And a big part of Larissa's work is talking about numerology and the intuitive nature of numerology and numbers. And numerology was actually one of the first modalities I ever explored and dove into back in the day. And I remember buying a book by Hans Decodes. If you know who he is, you will know who he is. And I was just so fascinated, and I started to go down my own journey around numbers and patterns and how understanding these kind of unique frequencies can help support us on our own self-awareness and spiritual growth journey. And I actually have my numerology numbers tattooed on my arm from back in like 2013. So, yes, I'm so excited to have you here and listen to all of your wisdom. So what I'd love to like hear more about your journey. Like, how did you discover numerology? How, like, what drew you to it as your life's work?
So thank you for having me. And I love that you are into numerology and numbers because I really do believe that we have this unique code. And like you said, it's about understanding the blueprints. So if we can, peel back the layers, it really is the greatest self-help tool. Now, I was very fortunate enough to have a wonderful great aunt. Her name is Aunt Rita. She's actually 98
Wow.
and she was a professional numerologist. We're talking 40 years ago. She is a trendsetter. I feel like she carved the path for all of us modern day spiritual seekers and mystics. So I grew up in a very large New York Italian family. Every Sunday we would go to grandma's house and we call it gravy, but it's really sauce and, the pasta and everything. And we would sit around the table and I was exposed to these very deep spiritual concepts at a very young age. But I was drawn to her that we have a soul connection, my aunt and I. And as I grew up, she would always do my chart. She started around 16 and it became this fun thing. It became something intriguing. I would share it with my friends and I would start trying to figure out their numbers, like in a playful way.
Yeah.
Never did I ever think that I would be doing this work. Now, I'm sure growing up as young, open-minded, we were very intuitive and very gifted young souls, right? But there's a time and a place and a season for everything. And I just kept that intuition to myself. But along the way, after seeing my aunt do this work for my friends and helping them get through life and helping them get through divorces, and just I saw how numerology became a healing modality and really a map. So I always felt like I had this cheat sheet. I
Mhm.
had this superpower. Oh, you want to buy a business?
Yeah.
Wait, we have to call Aunt Rita. Oh, you want to buy a house? Wait, we have to call Aunt Rita. And then back in 2010, I had a near, what I would call a living spiritual experience when my son was born 2 months early, and it was a near death birth. We almost lost him. It was very traumatic, very scary.
Mhm.
That night, I know that I can say this on your podcast, and I'm going to tell this story one day publicly, but God came to me that night.
Mhm.
And I've never felt that kind of love, that kind of energy, and I knew that my son was saved. And I told God, if you give me the opportunity to be his mother, I don't know how, but somehow I will do this work and bring people closer to you.
Mhm.
With this, very shortly after, my son was going through a lot of developmental issues, physical therapy. He had a stroke in utero.
Wow.
So it was a very tough 2 years. He's fine now. He's healthy. He plays baseball, football, the whole nine. But it was a really rough time in my marriage and everything. My
Mhm.
father was diagnosed with cancer and passed 2 months later.
Yeah.
And I went into this spiral. So I had this really big awakening in 2010. And
Mhm.
then in 2012, my father passed. And then Aunt Rita, who my father was extremely close with, she kind of took me under her wing and saw how, okay, we need to open up your gifts and we need to go inward for the answers. And
Mhm.
she sat me down, Gillian, and she said, the chaos that you see on the outside is a reflection of the chaos on the inside, Larissa. And we have to work on that. And my spiritual journey began. And I would go to her every Sunday. I would bring her bagels and coffee, and we would sit there. And she was like the cutest thing with a little whiteboard, and she was teaching me. And slowly I started, I don't want to say replacing Aunt Rita, but she was getting older, and she felt like she was passing the torch.
Yep.
And she said to me, promise me you will get this in the hands, this knowledge in the hands of women. And I said, well, that's a really interesting comment. Like, why women? She said, because once a woman truly understands herself and learns to love herself for who she is and understands her purpose, she'll then raise her children differently. And then they'll have different relationships. And we will heal the hearts of the world one person at a time. And I took it and I ran with it. And I just said, okay, I'm on a mission to do this work. And then, you know, 10 years later, here I am still doing it.
I literally got
So,
goosebumps when you said that because that is so powerful as a soul mission, as an underlying why. It's like it's insane. And it's so true when we're talking about how can we support humanity, on this bigger mission that we all have. And what a beautiful way for that to show up. And as we both know, right? Especially everything that you've had having children and the way that your son was born, it's like we are here to support the next wave and the next wave and the next wave because that's how humanity is going to change, right? It's the influence and as we know, the impact that like our ancestral line can have on ourselves, right? And the things that get passed on the line. So that's beautiful. Like how cool is that?
and you know what's interesting too? Like I love being spiritual, right? But to me, spiritual just means to be one with your spirit. And
Mhm.
everyone has a different way of their spirit being expressed. You shared your numerology numbers with me. You said your life path was a 3. Well, you're the creative expressives of the world who came here to speak, to teach, to serve their joyful expression in a way that brings you joy. And look what you're doing. You were meant to have your voice heard all over the world. Now, does it mean that because you understand your numerology, you're not going to have challenges or you're not going to have struggles or setbacks or sadness? Of course not. But it's another tool in the tool belt that helps you get through it faster. So you
Mhm.
can understand the negative aspects of the numbers, the higher you can get to the higher side of the numbers because everything is energy and it's a frequency.
Mhm.
So if we can live according to our numbers, then we're living truly aligned with our spirit, is how I see it.
Beautiful. And it's map, isn't it? It's like it's literally a map. And the way that I always see like all of my students and my clients actual life paths, I see it as like a treasure map. Like very visual. I literally see their path as a treasure map. It's almost like that hero's journey of who we're looking for this elusive treasure at the end of this journey, right? Everyone is looking for this pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But actually it's like the hero's journey. It's who we become on that journey. We gotta climb the mountain and we got to swim the crocodile infested water and we've got to like fight the trolls under the bridge, but it's who that we become through those trials and tribulations that actually is our purpose, is who we are, the essence that we are, and everything that spirals from that is a byproduct, right? Whether that's your business, your essence and how you touch people. So I love that. What are the most common, if there is common blocks or patterns that you see people facing, maybe with your specific clients that come to you, that numerology can help understand and reveal?
So it's interesting because, and that's a really good question.
Mhm.
I think when someone comes to a spiritual advisor, an astrologer, a numerologist, a Reiki master, a psychic medium, intuitive, we're all kind of blending our skill sets and our modalities, right? But really, you're the channel, I'm the channel. We're letting spirit work through us and we're guiding our clients to a more aligned path. When people come to me, they are confused.
Mm,
They they really want someone to see them, to validate them, but more importantly, they want to know that they are on their right path, that they're on their journey to achieving their purpose. And I say there's no one here to tell you what to do or when to do it. But if you knew that this was a certain time to focus on your family,
Mhm.
then put all your energy into that. If you know it's a time for your business and the numbers are saying, okay, this is a business month or this is a business year, then you can kind of guide the ship. We wouldn't get on a boat with no course. We wouldn't get on a boat with no map and just, wander out and sea in the open waters and just hoping we're going to get to our destination. I believe people come to me with a problem. We analyze it, we look at the goal, and we say, okay, here are the themes and the patterns that are going to get you to that goal in an easier, more aligned way.
Yeah.
I don't like the yes or no stuff. So, like, I had to have a conversation with my spirit guides. I was like, stop bringing me the people that say, should I leave my partner?
Mhm.
First of all, if you're coming to me and you're asking me if you should leave your partner, you should,
Yeah.
because it's done. But what I would say the better way to ask that question is right now, my relationship is struggling. And
Mhm.
I'll say to them, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you find your relationship? And I say, okay, according to the themes right now, if you do nothing, the relationship will be gone within 1 year, 6 months, or here, March, or I can I can pick
Mhm.
out when it's gonna go away.
Mhm.
Or you have free will, my dear. So if you want the relationship to mend and heal, because numerology, there's duality, right?
Mhm.
Then this is the course we have to take. And these are the months that you need to do this. And we strategize. And they literally leave with directions.
Yeah.
October, I'm doing this. November, I'm doing this. December. And you know what's interesting too? So, this particular year, 2025, because we have universal energy and we have personal energy as well.
Yeah.
So you have a very interesting personal year cycles because it's always going to match the calendar year. So you're like sandwiched in, but it doesn't mean good or bad. It just means that you can't escape the lessons of the nine. So, for example, right now, everybody in 2025 is under the nine universal energy,
Mhm.
which is about closure, completion, but it's really about transformation and evolution.
Yeah.
It's about enlightenment and becoming known as the expert. So you're supposed to take your wisdom and expand it out. I think of it as a pregnancy.
Mm.
When you create
Gestation.
right? You carry a child for 9 months.
Yeah.
During that time, you have absolutely no control. You
Yeah.
don't know if that he's going to have blue eyes, brown eyes, curly hair, straight hair, but you're going to love it anyway, right?
Mhm.
You just kind of do what you can, control what you can, do your best, and then it's kind of surrendering the rest to a higher power.
Mhm.
And then after that 9 months, you go through a very painful, emotional, dark shedding, and that pregnancy dies. The identity of the person carrying that child also dies. You
Mhm.
are no longer Larissa. Now I'm Larissa the mother, and a whole new identity is being birthed. And
Mhm.
that is what's happening for you. And under the nine, that's the true goal of the death and rebirth. It really is the phoenix rising from the ashes. But it doesn't always mean there's going to be loss or devastation. It could be a mindset shift. It could be, tapping into a different level of enlightenment or faith or your spiritual gifts, because it's a very spiritual energy.
Yeah.
So you are a life path of a three and a personal year nine
Yeah.
under the nine. I'm a life path of a one in a personal year five under the nine. So I'm working with three different frequencies. You are working always with two.
Hmm. Yeah,
It
because
doesn't mean better or worse. It's just more intense.
yeah, because for
Sorry.
people that don't understand, we have our personal year that aligns to our own personal chart, but then we have like a global personal year for what 25 or 2026 stands for. Now, for mine's a lot my personal year and the global year, if you like, aligns. So it's a global year 9 and it's also my personal year 9. And then next year it's a global year 1 and it's my personal year 1. So what's and will that always stay the same?
For you,
For
yes.
me.
So because of the way your birthday adds to the calendar, but for me, like next year, I'll be under the global one in a
Mhm.
personal year six. So I have that 6-1 frequency. You have a double one, which is amazing for you. Your business, which also though, can
Mhm.
I give you a warning with the one?
Warning, yeah, please do.
One one is the strongest number in my opinion of the sense of rebirth and new beginnings and leadership. It really is about leadership.
Mhm.
But it's also the loneliest number because the one needs no other. It
Mhm.
stands alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's one. So it's meant for you to stand out, but it's also could be a year of isolation.
Mm-hmm.
So that 1 year for you, because you're going to be feeling it in both areas, you're going to have to really carve in the time, schedule the lunches, the dinner dates, the movie nights. Otherwise, you might spend your whole year checked out.
Mm.
Not saying that you will do that, but you could if you leaned into the negative side of it. And the other negative side of the one is a little bit of controlling ego. The ego is really going to be strong for that for everybody under the one, but for you especially. So working on the ego death, the shadow side will be big for you.
Yeah, amazing. And it's so I feel that already with what I'm doing, even with my business and my own identity evolution around when I'm just putting things to bed and I'm building out more of my program that I'll be launching next year as well. And it's just it's like me stepping into that next phase of teacher. So everything that you're saying makes so much sense. But I've also been called to do more collaborations next year, because I have been very, very independent and like my soul is saying okay, more collaborations, more things like this, meeting other people that are in this space because that's what I need to support me next year. So you're absolutely bang on.
As long as you don't give up your identity or merge your identity with another in business. So the year one is meant for self growth.
Hmm.
It really is. So you can work with many different people, but you can't be merging of the two. That'll be your 2027. So it's also a big time for you to network and for you to put yourself out there as, hi, I am, and this is what I do. This is how I help. This is how I support. It's like building that Rolodex and then sifting and sorting through who compliments you, who is going to raise you up. And then in year 2027, that's when you can have two identities become one.
Yeah, I love that. And why is that in 2007 specifically? Because it's year two?
Because it's your year of partnership and harmony and balance and co-creation. And it's a little bit more of a peaceful energy where the 1 year is power, momentum, speed. So you do not need anybody slowing you down or anybody
That's about right.
second guessing you, right? So you're not looking for validation in year one. You're looking to stand out and let your independent voice be heard without anybody else infiltrating you or like, making you say something or think something. It's really kind of just being an independent thinker.
Yeah.
I like to say that the 1 year is something that you're going to create some original work, whether that's poetry or music or different courses or a book or something like that, a community. And you're going to give it the time it needs for it to grow over the next 4 years, like a baby. Literally, you're birthing something. So the one is very fertile.
I love that. And I always say that as well, like with, if you have children, you are here to birth a new creation in the world. But if you have a business, if you are on the soul journey, it's like all of my programs or all of my offerings, they are creations that I'm here to birth into the world. So that makes so much sense with where I am.
Were
Um,
you thinking of closing out any of your offerings and saying like we're
yes.
putting this one to bed? Yeah, that's spot on for you. So get ready to say goodbye, and then you launch a whole
Feeling it
new
all,
like
it's happening already. It's happening already. So yeah, I'm building out my like signature program, the Rebel Psychic School, and making it bigger and better for next year with like iterations that I've done over the last two launches. And I'm like, okay, I now see what my clients need from here to here, and this is what I'm creating. So I'll be pulling back on the one-on-one work and really focusing on this piece. And I know there's some bigger group programs that are coming as well down the line, but it's like this is the baby and this is what wants to be birthed. And it's like I was going to launch it this year because I did that last year. And Spirit was like, no, you got to launch it. You got to start it in March because there's things that you're here to teach that you're still here to embody. And I'm all about embodiment. It's like I can't teach something or I can't, yeah, I can't be in integrity unless there's deeper layers of coding that need to be embodied in me. So yeah, I'm like, okay, we're waiting, are we? Sweet. Let's do it.
and you have powerful numbers too, because your birth date is the 8th, so that is very strong, dominant. The shadow side of the 8 is self-worth though, and I don't know. I'm a little older than you, but I was taught, oh, you have to work hard for everything. Nothing comes easy in life. And the eight's biggest challenge is sometimes they they have to get over the you have to work hard, which I think you're doing it because you teach it. I've heard you teach it often about ease and flow and how to call things in and manifest. So you're very good at that. So I don't think you have a problem with that. And then your destiny is a 5, which is adventure and fun and travel and very passionate about things, passionate about life and romance. And anybody with 5 energy is naturally, I don't want to say flirty, but charming. And what happens is because you have that, you're very marketable and you can communicate effectively. So you are liked by all people because you're relatable and adaptable and you kind of have this very go with the flow energy. And the 7s in your chart for your desire and your personality is all about spiritual enlightenment, spiritual growth, spiritual seeker, spiritual teacher. So you are living like good for you. And you know, it's interesting. In the other form of numerology, which is the Hebrew form of numerology that I'm certified in, everything moves in 7 years as opposed to 9. And it's more of a spiritual wave.
Mm.
And between the ages of 35 and 42, the soul will go through the most difficult 7 year stretch of soul growth. Did you experience that?
Yes, because so I used to own a digital media marketing and technology recruitment company. So I owned that for 7.5 years, funnily enough. This cycle that I launched and built from scratch, like a 7-figure business. And it was about that time that I then moved into this work full time. It was
Wow.
shift. So it was a whole shift of identity. And everything that you said, like I was a workaholic. And this is pattern that I'm still working on, because it doesn't just go away. It's a lot of work that to get out of that. And where all my worth was in achieving and being the best and, building this huge business and, all of that stuff. But, networking and that was kind of what I did within that business. So it's now moving into my soul aligned business. It's really about shifting the patterns of how we do work from like a 3D perspective to a 5D perspective. So that was absolutely bang on. And yeah, it's really about continually evolving and shifting my identity with my work and what I'm here to embody and teach. So yes, I'm in that cycle right now. That second
That
cycle.
must have been really hard for you to transition and walk away, to really have faith and rebuild. Like that's amazing. Like not everybody could do that.
100%. I feel like I am very much in that one energy. I'm a manifesting generator, so I like new things. I like building new things. So, I took a leap of faith when I was like 30 and I moved to Australia and set up a whole business from scratch in a brand new territory, brand new industry that I'd never done before and, scaled that. So, kind of stepping out of something that was no longer aligned for me. And yeah, of course, because you have that in your mind. It's like, okay, this is stable, this is steady, this is all these things, but it made me unhappy, and I knew that all of the spiritual and healing training and work that I'd done over the last 10 years, I always knew that's what I was meant to do. I didn't know how or quite how I was going to put it all together because, I'd studied like 10 different modalities and I knew I wasn't meant to be a Reiki healer. I knew I wasn't meant to just do this, this, this. I was meant to create my own thing by using principles of everything else and create my own thing. But that just takes time. But yeah, it was more of a like, I know my soul and my guides are saying, you need to jump and I will catch.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Um,
Well, from birth to 35, the soul's very much in the physical, trying to ground themselves into an identity.
yeah.
I am this, I'm a teacher, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm a
Yeah.
lawyer, whatever it may be. And they're building this very physical reality, very 3D. And then when that 35 to 42, that 7 year stretch, it's a very gray area. Usually this is where the trauma will happen, where I like to call it a spiritual awakening, or some call it the midlife crisis, but I really don't see it as a crisis. It's the breakdown before the build up. And
Mhm.
then from 42 to 49, it's the blending of everything you've learned in the physical and everything you've gained into the spiritual to become integrated into one soul aligned path. And I think that the next 7, 9 year stretch that you're about to have is going to be a beautiful one
Mhm.
because you really have mastered that. Like I've been watching your work and I'm like, wow, you move with such confidence. It's very inspiring. So keep doing what you're doing. It's
Thank
beautiful.
Yay. Oh, I love that. I love like because it's rare that, like as teachers, as guides for other people, it's rare that we kind of get that reflection back unless we have other beautiful teachers and stuff around us. So I very much appreciate that. Any
Oh,
reflection
it's
on
so
it.
true. We need it. We need a girl, we need a spiritual group. So I built my business very much in the background on my computer, on the phone, because I was afraid to come out of the spiritual closet. Like I was your average, like minivan mom, stay-at-home mom. I was a former school teacher. I was an elementary school teacher. So I've always been a teacher in
Yeah.
some way. I'm just teaching something different.
Yeah.
And I started to come out with my gifts. And slowly I have grown this big community and it's been amazing. But
Mm.
just recently, I have been brought into a group of very powerful spiritual people, authors, speakers, recognized around the world. And I'm like, wait, you guys want me in your community?
Mhm.
But it was funny because I went and I met them and I was hanging out with them. And it was so fun because Gillian, someone was like, so what's your gift? I'm like, oh my God, no one's ever asked me that. Like I felt like I didn't want to leave this 5D energy. I felt so seen. And I just think we need that because we're helping so many people. Who's helping us? Like I don't know. We're still human, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we need it too.
Totally. And it's one of the biggest things. It's like, it's like I'm a guide for other healers and intuitives, the next wave that are coming up. And it's like for me to hold them and for them to be seen and validated in the way that I know I can do for them. It's like exactly that. We're still human, so we need it too. Thankfully, I do have some beautiful, amazing healers and psychics and girlfriends that are just phenomenal that'll just like call me and be like, hey, I'm picking this up about you, and I'm like, okay, I'm picking this up about you. It's like, yeah, we can't, like the coven, honestly, it's kind of that vibe. It's like we need it so much. And a lot of this work, like the isolation piece, a lot of people that go through the spiritual awakening do, there are points where spirit will take us into isolation, where they'll separate us from, the people that maybe we have normally hung out with because we shift and we change. And it's like a big part of this journey is to find our people, to find our soul aligned, whether that's our romantic soulmate, whether that's our soulmate friends, whether that's our soulmate clients. Like that is a huge part of this journey too. So yeah, I agree.
And
How
my biggest piece of
fortunate.
advice, because I think a lot of your followers, right, are developing their gifts. Yes.
Yes, they're either in business already and want to scale up, or they're developing their gifts. Yeah.
So I think the hardest part when you are a spiritual seeker and now you're a spiritual teacher or guide, or you're bringing this out and you want to serve your community in some way or, somehow, and you're developing your business, you are shifting from one identity to the other. But the problem is the people, not problem, but the people you love or your friends or your family, your colleagues, your spouses, your children, they're not where you are because they haven't had their awakening or they're just on a different timeline. So you're constantly hopping from one energy to another. And it can be really scary for you, but also for the people around you. And I have been married for 23 years. I've been with my husband since 1995. So he's seen a lot of, myself at different stages. And I remember when I turned to him and I said, I want to do this professionally. He said to me, well, what are you searching for? Like, I think he felt like I was trying to find something outside or that I wasn't happy and I was trying to fulfill something. I said, no, you don't understand. This isn't about searching. This is about me supporting and serving. And I know that I'm called to do this work. I'm not leaving. I'm not unhappy here, but I know that I have to go beyond my community because my community doesn't need me right now. I'll come. And I think a lot of people, especially with social media, they think, well, my sister didn't want a reading. My best friend doesn't like this, so nobody else does.
Mm-hmm.
Your gifts are not for your friends and family at first. It's
Yeah,
for total strangers.
100%.
I
And I
started,
learned. Yeah.
I started my social media journey um, at least 10 years ago, but I went on to TikTok right before 2020, right before, the pandemic. It was January, February. And I was being called. My guides were telling me to go. And I didn't know a thing about TikTok. And my daughter at that time was 15, 16, and she flipped out. She's like, Mommy, stay on Facebook. Like, what if my friends find you? You don't understand. What if you come on their FYP? They're gonna know that you're a weirdo. I'm like, all right, relax, relax. I'm like, you have to trust me.
Yeah.
I started with 0 followers, 0 clients, 0 influence. I had no idea what I was doing. But my calling, what I felt inside was so much greater than my fears that
Mhm.
I was like, if I could just help one person, it's all worth it.
Yeah.
I said, you have to trust me. Trust mommy. It's gonna be fine. And within 2 months, whatever it was, or 30 days, I had 50,000 followers. And now I have 1.1 million,
Wow.
connected with you. Like I'm meeting people all over the world. And now, just to prove my point, all my cousins, all my kids, they all bring their friends. They all want readings. They want their charts done every year.
Mhm.
So you cannot remain small and comfortable just because of you're afraid of your family doesn't want this. You have to go beyond and then come back. Did I make sense?
100%. And this is a big thing that I talk about is coming out the spiritual closet, right? And it definitely was for me, for sure, when I made that transition. I was like, I know my work can help everyone in my life. But actually, Spirit was like, your work is not for everyone. Your work is for a specific group of people, and that's who you're contracted for. So it's like the minute that I got out of my head, or the minute that I was like, oh, what if my old clients from like my career consultancy, like life, what if they see me or they're like, oh my God, that's Gillian, what a weirdo, what a woo. I had to, there was phases and stages of my business evolution that I had to keep coming out of the closet and out the closet. And I'm like, hello, I'm here again. And it's
You
true.
know,
And then it comes full circle. And I have like old clients and other people that have been in recruitment that are my best clients and students now. It's just like, it all makes sense.
and if you say you help everyone, then you serve nobody.
Yeah.
I found that the second I gave myself a name, and really goddess giving came to me in a channeled message.
I was going to
I was
ask about
praying.
your name.
I was praying to my guides, and I was just at a point of, okay, I know this is what I'm meant for. I know I'm meant for something greater.
Mhm.
How am I supposed to show up and serve? That's the question I kept asking Spirit.
Yeah.
So I was in Aruba. It was 2019, like again, before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I'm with my husband and 2 other couples, and we're having, cocktails on the beach of Aruba. And I'm like reading my Oracle book. Actually, it's right here. It's called, oh, wow. It's called Goddess Power by Colette Baron Reed. And I was reading the book and I was looking at the meanings of the goddesses. And I was like, wow, that's like my friend Lisa. That's like my friend Jen. And I started to see very similar traits between these goddesses to the modern day women that I
Wow.
associate.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what am I supposed to do? And I heard, give to the goddesses. And I said, give to the goddesses. Goddess
Shivers.
giving. I
Mm-hmm.
took out my phone, and at that time there was no TikTok yet. I wasn't on any of this. I took up Facebook and I made a group and I said goddess giving, and I had to add my husband to it because you had to add someone for the group to be formed. And all I see him he pops up from the lawn from the beach chair. He goes, "Why did you just add me to some group called Goddess Giving?" And I go, "I don't know. I just feel I have to. It's going to be important. Don't worry about it."
Yeah. Put a
And
wig on. You're fine.
that's how Goddess Giving was born. And the meaning is to give to the goddesses, to give to the modern day women. And, again, I
Wow.
could have called myself Purple Turtle. If you're doing the work, people don't care. Don't worry about the identity, the brand name. Just move. Just do it. One video, one reading at a time. Like, just go. The world needs it more now than ever.
Yeah.
So that's how my story started. And
Oh,
I'm always constantly changing. I constantly think I'm failing. I'll put up a video. I'm like, you suck. That was no good. You're terrible, because we're very hard on ourselves.
yeah.
And sometimes when you build these big businesses or these big followings, it comes with a lot of responsibility. And the bigger, it does not always mean better.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that I really work with my clients that have online businesses, right? That are trying to scale their businesses because there's whole energetic foundations to why you're not being visible, right? A lot of spiritual teachers, a lot of us healers have like past life wounds that have karma, that have things that block us from being visible because for many, many lifetimes and in our ancestral line, it was not safe to be visible and to be in your gifts or to even be a woman as that, to be honest. So there's a lot of like underlying energetics around scaling and being successful online, and then what that comes with, right? Because the online is a beautiful, great place because we get to share and, meet these amazing other people, but it comes with its own challenges, right? And everyone has their own work to do with business and scaling, especially when it's on the online forum. So
And everything happens as it should, because the
yeah.
healer I am today was not the healer of 5 years ago. So I wouldn't have been able to handle
Yeah.
the type of people that were coming to me then versus, I mean, now versus then, or vice versa. Everything is happening in divine timing. And, our birth given name, our numerology, our birthday, it reveals these karmic codes, these karmic contracts.
Mhm.
And my whole point is to teach my clients, we do not eliminate karma. We're not paying back something for being bad. Karma is actually, in my belief system, in how I was taught, was predetermined lessons and challenges. It's going to be the hardest part of your life. But the whole point of the soul's journey is to learn how to transmute that karma
Mhm.
into your gifts of service to the world. So it would go from pain to power. And that is the beauty of what I believe these systems of like numerology and karmic contracts and decoding these contracts can actually do for people. Because when I show it to you, I say, I didn't make this up. This
Mhm.
is your karma. These are your numbers. Now, the intuitive side, obviously, we're working with our guides. We get messages, things happen. Like I was doing a reading today, and I saw her working with um, pregnant women and creating classes for like with Lamaze people. And I can't even think of the words right now. But anyway, she's like, oh my God, I was thinking of doing that. Yeah, no, that's not a coincidence. Your guides are saying, right, spirit leaves breadcrumbs, go that way. It reminds me of when we were kids and we used to play that game of like, oh, you're hot, you're cold, you're getting warmer, you're
Yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah,
warmer.
yeah. I love it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah,
And sometimes,
that's what the
we want like all of the information. And I was saying to one of my clients today, I was like, no, you're learning to trust. Your lesson right now is trust and surrender because you have not done that for a very long time and
oh,
it's
I
got you
love it.
into a whole lot of fuckery. So I was like,
Yep.
you're going to be shown one little step that you just have to take. You just have to trust and take it, and then the rest will be divulged. And I was like, but if you were seeing your whole end result like 2 years down the line, you're gonna freak out because you're not at that place yet where you can understand and accept that. You'll be like, how do I get there? I have no idea how to get there. It's so far
Too
away.
much.
It's like
Too
this
much.
is where you are in your path right now. This is the cycle that you're in, and this is what we're working with. So
I
yeah.
love that. It makes me think of so again, like I said, I'm a big Italian New Yorker. We have these big
Oh.
Italian weddings and we have like a Viennese hour. So after dinner, they open up this like room and it's this big Viennese hour with every dessert under the sun, chocolate fountain where you can dip all the fruit, ice cream bar, coffee bar, espresso martinis. It's just dessert and more dessert. And I say to my clients, imagine spirit gave you everything at once, just like that dessert bar. I love cheesecake. I love chocolate. I love ice cream. If I ate it all, I
Mm-hmm.
would be sick.
Mm-hmm.
My body could not enjoy each item. And you are absolutely right. Spirit gives us what we can handle
Yeah.
at the exact time we can handle it and then builds another layer. But the hardest step is the first one. I'll never forget my first live video. I almost vomited afterwards. I was like, oh my God. But I did it and I did it again and then I did it again and I got better. Like you're a marketing expert, right? I knew nothing about marketing. I built my following organically, didn't pay for anything, never. I wouldn't even, no ads, nothing. It's literally trial and errors, throwing spaghetti at the wall,
Mm-hmm.
seeing what stuck, seeing what I liked, but really what brought me the most amount of joy. Sometimes people are like, oh, you shouldn't do these videos, you should do more of these videos. But it's about what Larissa likes creating.
Yeah.
Because if I'm creating something because you told me to create it, or
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT said this is a really good marketing plan,
Mm-hmm.
the energy is not behind it. And then you don't come off authentic. Then you come off fake, or you come off like you're just reading a script. Nobody wants that. You know that some of my most viral videos are like me in the morning having coffee. I don't even think I have a bra on. Like I'm just like sitting around shooting the shit and just they've gone viral, mega viral
Yeah.
because people want they want relatability, they want to feel like they are on the journey with you and they want to see the authentic person. If you and I were to go get coffee or go to a diner and have this is exactly what we'd be talking about.
Yeah.
This exact conversation would be
I know.
happening. I
Exactly.
probably curse a little bit more because I have a potty mouth, but other than that,
Same, same, literally. I'm like I'm from Scotland originally, right? So it's like effing this, effing that. So I'm trying to be.
I try not to. I'm trying to get better with my old age, but
That's like
sometimes
that's
I
why I was like that's why I'm like so drawn to you because I'm like I'm from a small family and I'm drawn to like big Italian families, big Latin families, like that whole like family community, we're all in it together vibe. I am so attracted to that type of energy. So I was like I can see why I was like, oh, I love her.
oh, thank you. And
Yeah.
you have a beautiful energy too. And I think the bottom line is, especially with all this energy that's going on right now in our society, I think the question that I present to my community, to my clients is, how can there be more of you in the world?
Mhm.
Because if there's more of you and you're doing this work and you're healed and you're showing up as a better, brighter, more healed version, then you're bringing more love and joy into the world. And that has a ripple effect. And I really do believe that if each person just kind of worked on themselves and then shared that out little by little, the planet will be better.
I know, same. And it's so funny you said that because I've always had that very utopian view ever since I was a tiny little girl. And I was like, I just don't understand why everyone isn't nice and everyone doesn't get along and da da da. Like, I just had this like overtly wise utopian view of how life can be because I've also lived other lifetimes where it was like that. So it was kind
Yeah,
of like this remembering. And it's true. It's like if we all did that work, how beautiful would it be? You know, like if we're all the planet was ruled, not even ruled, by just everyone doing their things, everyone living in their purpose and serving and creating from their purpose. How amazing would that be? That would be wild.
amazing. Yeah.
And we have had
And I think
lifetimes like that.
and as a mother, so now I have three, 21, 18, and 15. So, they've watched me. They've been, in the other room while I'm doing a reading or I'm talking about psychics and spirit guides and angels, and this has just become very
Normal.
normal.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
but what's happening is they're learning to trust and into a higher power. They're learning to connect to their higher self, their
Hmm.
higher awareness at a much younger age,
Hmm.
which means that they're not going to have to wait until they're 42 to kind of come into their spiritual truth. They're finding it much younger. Therefore, I believe they're going to have an easier road than I had,
Hmm.
because people like you and I are carving it out for this younger generation. And with social media, it makes it so easy to connect. Like, as a mom, and I know I'm getting off track a little bit,
Oh,
some parents, they don't want their children on social media. And I get that. Like, I respect it. That's right for you. But for me, I see social media as such a skill, such a tool, a connection.
yeah.
And I think if we could use it for good, then we can teach our children to use it for good. And the world becomes a lot smaller. So if you're feeling different, if you're feeling lost, if you feel like you have no one to talk to, you can use social media to step out into the world and really share and find your tribe because everybody needs a tribe. I believe it.
100%. I always say that as well. It's like we have so much access to information that we never had as kids growing up. Our parents certainly didn't. So this is why, like, I'm seeing so many young, like, awakened people now, and I'm like, oh my God, if I was awakened when I was a kid, fully, like, my life would have been so different. But you're absolutely right. It's like we are the generation that is almost like that bridge between the new awakened souls that are coming into this world and our parents. So it really is. We are very much, I feel like that bridge
And I
of
really
age.
do feel between this 2025, 2026 energy. And just to give a little bit of insight, so October, November, December, the energy for October is a one, and
Mm,
it's always going to be a sneak peek energy into the upcoming year. So think about what you went through in October.
okay.
Spirit's kind of giving to you on a small scale. Think of it like a testing ground to see if you like it. So I
Mm,
always tell my clients around October, with the one energy of October, launch something new, try something new, see how you like it. Because if you do, then that's pretty much what's going to happen for 2026. It's the same. And then November is a two energy, right? And now we're going to see that in the following year. We're going to see it in a repeat because it's like a bookend.
Yeah, okay. So what was it doing in October? It was my birthday in October. I did launch my membership in October as well. So there you go, the
Oh,
community.
see, there you go. So the whole year. So in reality, your entire 2026 year is going to be about nurturing that community.
Yeah, yeah. It
So
feels very much like that.
that will become your number one priority.
And then the program as well. It feels like those are my two priorities, really. It's like the community and then my bigger program are like the two main focuses. And then everything that's more on a one-on-one scale, I'm pulling back.
So now November is a two energy.
Mm.
Now, when we go January, January is the first month of the year. You're going to add that to 2026, which is a one. So one plus one is
Mm.
a two. So it's really an 11 two, but it's still the two. And then December's a three energy. And then February is also a three energy. So you're always going to have the last 3 months of the year and the first 3 months of the year are similar energy, like a bookend.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense for like,
You get to repeat.
and I love that the like I work very much in cycles. I realize the cycles of my life. I realize the cycles of my path. Like it's very ingrained into how I operate, how I work, even like my own period cycle on like what I can and can't do. So it's like it's really cool that we can use numbers and use numerology to indicate like really important cycles or really important periods in each of our junctures in lives. How can people start to use numerology to to work with these types of cycles? Like, how could someone do that?
So the first thing that I would recommend, and you can go online, there's calculators, like or you can go to a numerologist or someone that can really break it down. But if you just want to dibble dabble and like get to know your numbers, you can go online, you can discover your life path. So the way you get your life path is you add your birth month, birth day, birth year to a single digit. I like to do it where you're adding your birth month to a single digit, birth day to a single digit, birth year to a single digit, and then adding those three and keep reducing down. And the reason why is because when you add your birthday straight across, birth month, birth day, birth year to a single digit and keep reducing it, sometimes you get false master numbers.
Oh.
So a lot of times people come to me with master energy, and I'm like, you don't have master energy.
Mm,
And master doesn't always mean better. Master, because in numerology, everything moves from 1 to 9, unless you're an 11, 22, or 33, making you a master life path. It just means it's more intense and more challenging and harder lessons in some ways and more responsibility. So
mm,
it's not always better. But if you know your life path. And then what you do is you need your life path to calculate really then your personal year cycle. And the way you do your personal year cycle is birth month, birthday to the global year, to the calendar year.
yeah.
And that gives you, if you can play with those two numbers, because the life path is birth to death, it never changes, it's forever. But the calendar year, the personal year cycles changes every year, and you will always feel the intensity of that number on or around your birthday. And
Mm,
that's when you really feel it. And then I also like to work with my clients and we map out the months. I
mm,
actually think that understanding your month energy is what gets you through the day-to-day stuff.
yeah. I can see how important that is because it's not so like in obviously in business it's like we'd look at the monthly targets, the quarterly targets, the yearly targets. It's kind of like that. Sometimes when we think about the whole year, it just feels too much for us. So it's can we break these down into bite-sized pieces and month by month feels so good. Whether that's you're in business or whether that's just you're just like lifing, right?
Correct.
Mm.
Correct. And, because I think everybody's busy, they're doing their thing, they're running their lives, going to work, kids, whatever it may be, hobbies. I think sometimes if we knew what the overall theme was,
Mm,
then give ourselves a little bit more grace. Like for me, this month energy is more of quiet month, self-reflection. It's not a showy month. It's not a very fast-paced month. It's kind of a seven energy for me. So it's a very slow and steady studying, reading, going inward for the answers.
mm,
Seven energy as a life path one is a very hard energy because the one likes speed, it likes momentum. The seven is like, I need a nap. It's opposite.
Hmm.
So instead of me feeling like something's wrong with myself, I'm like, oh, this is my month of rest.
Yes.
I'm gonna give myself grace and I'm gonna grow through the challenges and I'm gonna go slow. So maybe today, instead of doing five things, I do two. Or maybe instead of working 5 days this week, I work, shorter hours or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Or maybe I work on my grounding because, it's a very slow month and I've got to ground. So, if you know these themes, then you can just make plans that match it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just alignment, isn't it? Like ultimately that's
It
what,
really is.
and giving permission. And that was even a really important topic. And that comes up with myself and my clients all the time. It's like, this is a period of rest. People are like, why are things not happening? I was like, because there's different cycles for different things. And this is where you need to rest right now. And you need to be doing other things. So yeah, understanding and just giving people a permission slip, especially as ambitious women, to rest is huge, is a topic in itself, to be honest. So I love that you brought that
And
up.
this is a transformative year and
Yeah.
it's a transitional year. And we're literally it's a timeline shift of old earth, new earth, and it's hard. It's just a very difficult emotional year. There's a lot of changes going on, and people have to decide if they want to remain in the same energy, that's fine. Maybe the soul needs to learn more things. It's
Mhm.
not for me to take those lessons away from my clients, but
Yeah.
it's my goal to say, well, if you want these changes, then this is the best time for this. This is the best month for that. And then let them make the decision. I think if anyone comes to a reader, a healer or a guide, and they say, okay, on, January 3rd, this is going to happen, get your money back. Because I don't believe anyone can say that because of free will.
Yeah. 100%. It is. You're absolutely right. And timelines change. Things shift and timelines change. So it's like, yeah, we're always evolving. And if we're not
But
evolving,
we can see things. We can say, okay, I see fertility or I see a pregnancy. I feel like there's a pregnancy in the month of March. Well, did I say you were going to get pregnant? Maybe you're like, hell no, I don't want to. Well, then you better do whatever you need to so that that doesn't happen. Like you have choices. And I just think all of these modalities, what you do, what I do, it's more tools in the tool belt, making it a easier time for your clients. That's all
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I always say that as well. As like, just want to give you more tools in your tool belt. So you can just go at any given time, this is what I need to bring out and this is what I need to use. And like with my
Yeah.
clients, I really help support them with their talents, with their skills, with their with their soul's potential. And within numerology, are there any like places where we can see hidden talents or potentials in our numbers that maybe we're not expressing yet? Maybe in my numbers. Is there anywhere like where would we see that?
So, in Western numerology, the life path is the path that the soul must take to fulfill its destiny, its dharma, its mission, its soul's contract. But your name frequency is what tells you how to fulfill that. And so that's why I love it because really there is nobody else walking around with your name. There's only one, of me with my given birth certificate name. And those are the lessons of my soul. And I'm a Life Path One, which is an original creative teacher, inspirational leader. And then my destiny is a seven, and that's to be a spiritual, enlightened teacher. So it tells me how I should be feeling that. The other thing, too, is in our karmic contracts, in our name, it will tell us what our physical karma is, what our spiritual karma is, but then what the spiritual goal is and the physical goal. So when I break down the names and I go through the system, if you know what your soul's true goal is, you know what the karma is, which is the pain points, and then you know what your hidden talents are based upon your name, then you have this very three-step, like very clear system of, okay, this was my biggest challenge. This is my biggest attribute, my biggest strength. So I got to use more of this. And this is what I'm working towards. And
Mm,
it's really right there for you in your name. I believe it's the name. The life path. So you and I could have the same life path,
hmm.
right?
Yeah,
We don't have the same name.
true.
That's why twins are so different.
The nuances.
My my, my husband is an identical twin. Him and his twin will always share the same life path, and they will always share the same personal year cycle as well as month cycles. So the cycles will always be the same and the pinnacles and all of that. But how they fulfill it and how they move is completely different because of their names. That's why when you meet two twins, you say, oh my God, they're nothing alike
Hmm.
because they
Yeah.
have a different frequency. And I find it interesting because my husband and his twin have the same profession, but they're
Oh, really?
totally different. Yeah, they do. A lot of twins I know have the same profession. They have the same life path.
Yeah, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. So I'm a life path 3 and then a destiny 5. What does that tell me about my talents or abilities or path or how I'm meant to?
So you are actually the marketing, which I find interesting that you saying, because one of the top like professions for a life path five, the five energy, whether it's in your destiny, because the second biggest number of your name is the destiny, it's the marketing
Sales and
geniuses of the world.
marketing.
They're here to market globally and they just share their voice globally. But one of the things very, I would strongly advise you, based upon your name number and your birth date number, is to help other spiritual businesses be developed and help them market their business. Like I could actually see you teaching spiritual leaders and creating their map and being there almost like a business coach as well, because you have very strong business marketing numbers, but on a very 5D intuitive level because you have all the sevens around you.
Mhm.
I mean, so like when you said you have your community, you would be an excellent business development, marketing development, teaching them social media, teaching them how to sell, how to funnel, how to, do their tiers or whatever marketing genius, things you do, you'd be wonderful at it. But also bringing in cultural aspects to your business. The five is a very much they're here to learn by doing and by experiencing.
Mhm.
So it's not like all about the books and reading. It's about actually going out in life and experiencing different cultures, different music, different ways of culture, food, and then incorporating that into their business.
Mhm.
Does that fit you?
Totally. I always say I'm very experiential. Like I need to learn and develop, and it feels like everything that I go through, then my clients come to me and I support them through that. So I think I'm like a 6'2" in human design as well. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. And that's what I do. It's like I support the next wave of healers and leaders, whether that is from developing their own intuitive and healing gifts through to their business. So, even channel, like I've got clients that we're channeling their business, we're channeling their soul path, we're channeling their content, and I'm building and giving them the tools so that they can be a clear channel for their business. Like I'm here to help them with their skills. And my
But
old,
you're a channel.
yeah,
The five
exactly. So
energies are intuitive channels, mediums, and guides.
exactly,
So you
exactly.
have that in you.
Yeah.
You're here to speak your truth.
Mhm.
Um, that five is someone who is here to spark change, create change, to adapt, adjust, and be flexible, but to be the change makers of the world.
Mhm.
So you're
Yeah.
here for the adventure of it all. I call you guys my like little Dora the Explorers. Like you're got a backpack, you're going on an adventure, you have all your tools, and you're gonna like fix and find and experience life as it happens. And that was one of my favorite cartoons I used to watch all the time with my kids.
It's so
I just
funny.
love
I literally have this tiny little backpack that I wear to the gym, and I'm like Dora the Explorer. It's like a big green, it's a little green thing, and I'm always like, hey. So yeah,
you literally are. And
literally.
also I would tap into more channeled writing. That would
Mm,
be my advice to you because I think channeling gets a bad rap. People think it's a little woo-woo out there, but in reality, it is just letting spirit speak through you. And I do believe that's one of your gifts.
yeah. And it's what I teach in the Rebel Psychic School. It's like that's my program is out to develop your psychic abilities, your channeling abilities, your connection with spirit, and your mediumship abilities. Like that is like my core program to give the skills, teach the skills in the way that is unique to everyone, because everyone has unique abilities. Everyone is not meant to do the same thing the same way. So it's really about finding each of my clients and students thing, their niche, their purpose, their soul mission, and to express it in the way that they are uniquely meant to express it. So that's why I call it the Rebel Psychic School, because I'm like, you're meant to go against the grain. You're not meant to do what everyone else is doing. You're here to create something that is uniquely you. And like, that's what I'm here for.
And I think too that to sit here and say you have a singular, like a single purpose in life, I think that's hard too. I think everybody comes to me, they want clarity, they want direction, they want reassurance, alignment, but they want to know, am I living my purpose? Am I fulfilling my purpose?
Yeah.
And I always say you have a very specific plan. You have, a purpose, but how that purpose comes out or how you experience it or it's different for you, it's going to be different. Like you might have one purpose to be a speaker and a teacher, but it shows up in 8 different ways. Like if I'm going to drive from New York to South Carolina and you're going to drive from New York to South Carolina and I drive in a minivan and you drive in a Maserati, we're getting to the same place, but we're having two very different experiences. And I think that people need to realize that maybe this season right now, your purpose is to experience driving in that minivan, and then the next season you're in the Maserati. But, you know, I've always known that my purpose is to be a teacher and a speaker, but it's shown up in many different ways, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be one way, and you can expand and you can change and you can grow over time, and it can look different in 2 years from now. And the business you're building right now, or you're helping them build right now, it shouldn't stay the same for the next 10 years. It has to change. It has to grow because you're growing and changing as a soul. And every time we reach different levels of truth, different levels of consciousness, different levels of awareness, our business has to keep coming up with us.
100%. And our business has its own consciousness. It is its own entity. And this is something that I help my clients do as well, is to channel the consciousness of your business. Because it is like you, especially if you have a personal brand, the DNA of you is in your business. So your blocks, your energetics, your alignment is with your business. And it's like my old business, I had a business partner, and now the energy of my business is my business partner. It's like you wouldn't go through your day not having a meeting with your business partner or not setting an agenda or not be like, are we on the same page? Have we delegated this? Is there anything we miss? This is how we need to be working with the consciousness of our business, the consciousness of our offers, the consciousness of our content as well. And this for me, with the people that are moving into business, this is the next layer of how to create business in a way that is soul aligned to you. Not a strategy that someone's taught you, but what actually is aligned for you and what your soul and your business wants to express. So yeah, I love
And
that.
2026 is the year. It's the year everyone has to launch and take that risk. I always say year one is you jump and you just go for it and the net will appear and you have faith. Obviously, I want it to be aligned action, inspired action. And you don't want to do anything too crazy, but it's kind of like if you ask me what is the perfect year to start a new business or to really start a new identity, it's 2026.
Mm-hmm. Let's go. Come on, guys. It's your time. All of my students out there that are waiting in the wings to
Exactly.
like launch something. Yeah, it's so the time. And I love
Yeah.
that. So, what is for everyone that's listening and watching out there, what is next for you in your work? Any exciting programs, offerings, any new methods you're teaching? What is ready and
What's going on with me? Okay. Well, so actually, it's very interesting. I actually am closing down a community that I've had for some time.
Mhm.
Um, just doesn't feel aligned anymore.
Yep.
And it's been hard because I knew I should have closed it down 9 months ago, but
Hmm.
I was holding on because, we feel a sense of responsibility, but uh, it wasn't serving me in the manner that it had in past years. And now I know my soul has moved on beyond that. I don't know what's next as far as the community aspect of that, but spirits like trust us. It's going to be okay.
Mhm.
I'm actually transitioning into monthly messages. So instead of a private membership community, the first like Wednesday of every month, I'm going to do a big monthly map, life path for every, like you come in, you pay, you want to show up for December, you show up for December. You want to show up for January, you show up for January. And it's a monthly message, monthly reading channeled according to the numbers and beyond. So that's starting on this month. Actually, I'm doing the first one on December 10th. And
Mhm.
I'm also doing my first live event. So it's something that I'm excited to be launching.
That feels so
It's
good for you.
me. Yeah, I'm scared, which is so funny because I have no problem going on a video, potentially to see millions of people see my face, but put me in a room with 25 people and I'm scared, So I know it's something that I'm meant to do, and I will be hopefully at the end of this year a published author, or my book will be complete in 2026. So working on that, trying to get out into the real world a little bit more. And I've been studying mediumship like crazy with some of the top best mediums I could find because, like you, I'm sure when we do our sessions, psychics and intuitives, we're very in tune. We're giving messages. We are using our clairs. We know things to be true. We see things. We sense things. We hear things. And sometimes the mediumship comes in, right? Like all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics practice mediumship.
Mhm.
And my issue is it comes when it wants, but I can't control it. So,
Okay.
so like it happened today, but it didn't happen yesterday. So, like anything else, it's a muscle.
Hmm.
And I believe if you don't have to be a natural born medium, you just have to have the desire to heal and serve. And if you're willing to study, if you're willing to practice, if you're willing to be wrong, right?
Hmm.
Because you're afraid to be wrong. If
Yep.
you're willing to be a channel for spirit, spirit's always going to show up. So that is what's happening for me. I'm coming out behind the numbers because a lot of my mentors say that I hide behind the numbers because it
Hmm.
felt safe. It
Hmm.
felt safe for me in the beginning. So I'm coming out of the spiritual closet again on a bigger scale.
New layers, new layers. And it's so true. It's like you're absolutely right. It's like the numerology has been a tool that is like, okay, it's almost like a system and a tried and proven system that, is safe. But when we're doing anything that is channeled work, mediumship specifically, because, people know these people. So the evidential piece is so critical and so key. Versus, when you're picking up psychic information, sure, you can talk about all these different things, but when you are connecting to a passed on loved one, it has to be so evidential. It has to be so on point because these people know who their passed on loved one is. So it really does bring you out of like it's like an exposed piece. And it's so true. It's what I say in my program. It's like when you're willing to put in the practice and the work, and then I've got a whole area around clearing the blocks because we also have beliefs and blocks that impact our channel, impact our trust, impact our belief in that we can do this. When we do the healing work and clear that away, like our channel becomes open. But everything in divine timing as well, right? Like our gifts will come on at different junctures for different reasons, because that is what we're here to develop in, those cycles. So I love that. And what is your book? Because I'm really curious. What is your book about?
Oh, really? You're gonna be okay, so I don't
Yes,
have a
I
title. Oh
am.
gosh. Okay. So it's called A Letter to My Children.
Um,
And it's basically about the spiritual awakening process, letting them know they can be, do, or have anything. And it's about that the greatest miracle that you're seeking, the miracle's you.
mm,
And I felt like when I started writing this, it was if something was to happen to me, because I had a friend who passed at a very young age, and I just always felt like her children won't hear her mother's words
mm,
of what she wanted for them as adults, or things like that. And I felt like if I could let my children know that this was my wish for them, and that I could leave this book for them about spirit, how to connect to their higher guides, how to trust their intuition, trust their instincts, and that they literally are the miracle.
mhm.
That that's my wish for them. I'm looking at it actually, right. It's right here on my computer. It says, "A letter to my children, to my loved ones." My entire life, I wanted to be somebody. It wasn't until now that I realized that somebody is me. And, we're seeking and searching when the answers are right in front of you. The answer is you. The answer that you're searching for is freaking you. So that's kind of what my book is about. I'm stuck on chapter 8, so hopefully I can get past it.
Yeah, your
But
ancestors are all behind you. I just see this stream of women who are literally just clapping you on. Like they're just like so proud of you, and it's almost like you're doing the things that they could never really do. So like you're a living, breathing um emblem is the word that's coming through of like what they are here to share. And there is a big piece around this book around your ancestral line, which makes sense because it's all around the children and the generations, the generational line. So they're just saying work with your ancestors, bring them in with this particular chapter, and you'll get the clarity that you need.
thank you so much. And thank you for having me. You're such a sweetheart. I'm so glad we connected. There's no mistake, right? Spirit brought us together for a reason. So I
Always.
appreciate it.
Always, exactly. Thank you so much. And for everyone that is watching, I'll put all of Larissa's details of where you can catch her on TikTok and Instagram and her website as well. If you want to go check out her work or connect with her, please do. She's got a great social media and like super informative. If you want to learn anything about numerology specifically as well, there's so much content on there that you will love. So yeah, just thanking you so much, Larissa, and yes, it's been such a pleasure and such a joy, and I hope everyone listening and watching has had as much fun as I have had on this episode. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.